Hello, this is FG back with you for Anbennar. Today we are continuing on with Esthil. Sorry. We are going to carve unholy runes on the interior walls and fill them with liquefied dame's deer. Does that... Yes. I think that's correct. Alright. Of course, we are just going to purge every single orc, so we don't need to bother converting them. Good time. Alright, we actually do have a full wall, technically. Yeah. Orcish majority purged. More souls. Let's go with foreign, because irony. Alright. Ahead of time on all technologies. Mage Tower. So I need to put a mage tower here and right here, which we can do. And then we'll need to put one right there as well. There goes our court mage. I'm willing to roll for a mage. Yep. Then right here, I want to build one as well. Okay, so... It's 5... Okay. Hunters destroy Ghoul Nest. I'll do this. Different perspective. Okay. So all of these need to have 45 development. Okay. Have I built Mage's Tower? Yes, I have built Mage's Towers on all of them. A lot of development needs to get done. Okay, we're gonna rebuild that here instead. And we'll need to build one right there, and then we will put one right there, right there, and right there. Okay. Okay. I mean, I can get a deploy rep guy. That's good. Are we a witch? Oh, yeah. Hey, Raven March. They have done very well, actually. If we have enough favors. Ask to prepare for war. Okay. Then we are going to declare for Old Haven and call Raven March in. We'll hit that one time, and then we will be able to siege this down. And I will actually go ahead and throw a fort down here. Half-orcs are fine. I don't like them, but they're okay. Do I have any fun necromancy things I could do? Okay, let me speak with the dead. Then we can take attack, get ahead of time. Some gun knights and some Colverans. Do I have... Yes. Can I afford this? Yes. I did declare... Yes, I did declare for Old Haven. Off you go. Alright, and I am going to go siege that down. How much mana do we have? Okay, we can take that if we really need manpower. Stellus is dead. Of course he is. Okay, so we have 3 more years of that. Okay, so... Arian. Alright, we're black flagged. Excellent. Goblins flee. Of course they do. They're cowards. What does it say? Put myself into my work. Oh, if it says sing the magic spell, let me read that. Form dark enchantments. Okay, so get rid of that alliance. That come off. That will cost actually not very much to upgrade. Okay, Stalbor is willing to leave. Marhold is not. If I occupy a couple other provinces, they might be willing to, though. Okay. Is there anything I need to do with money? That has a fort. Yes, I do. I will throw a fort down here. I will also throw a second fort down here. So that'll mean those two are done. Okay. Am I the one sieging this? Yes. Excellent. Okay, I can leave one of them here. I can send these guys over to deal with the food riots. exhaustion isn't that bad. Take that. Orcish Revolt. We will do it with that in a second. We can spare the mana. Alright. Study magic. Necromancers. Necromancy. Alright. Finally got rid of them, yep. Excellent. Alright. Even white walls cast dark shadows, son. Remember that before you venture into Ascon these days. Retired adventurer, now Cavern Keep from Menabor. To ensure peace, freedom, and justice and security of our new empire, we need protection. Protection from orcish filth that still remains outside of our borders. Protection from foolhardy would-be reclaimers that would thwart Verina's ambitions. And of course, protection from the backwater fools in the Magisterium when they inevitably descend from their ivory towers and attempt to impose their narrow-minded ways upon us. What would serve this purpose better than the legendary White Walls of Castanor, ripe for the taking? Alright, so... now we can start doing other stuff. These all need to be developed. 5. 5. 5. And then need a workshops. And these need some development. Noble demands. When Verina had negotiated with the patricians, she had been pleasantly surprised, for while they made it clear their support was contingent on Castenath, and by extension themselves, being enriched, a shared hatred of orcs and wariness of the threat that they posed had seen the patricians end up being far easier to deal with than expected. So when a representative of some of their surviving noble families that had once called Inner Castanor their home asked for an audience, Verina had found herself cautiously optimistic that they might be reasonable. After all, the scions of such families would either have seen their ancestral holdings burned, fled from the Green Tide, or grown up in exile, all too aware of what caused the current misfortunes of their house. Those hopes had been naive, to say the least. My Grand Magister, if it was not made ever so clear in our previous correspondence, we are appreciative of the work and your associates in dealing with the Orcish invasion of our rightful holdings. Now that order has been restored, the families I represent have agreed upon the proposal now presented to you, formally enshrining the right that are ours by birth while deferring some control to your domain. Surely someone as wise as you could see how generous a proposal this is, and would agree to these terms to foster continued amicable relations between the state and the nobility. What say you? What say I? Piss off. Alright. we doing experience-wise? Yeah, kobolds are fine. Orcish majority purged. Excellent. Yes. Yeah, sure, let them in. Take this. It's the last buff we can get that's permanent. Alright, what are we great power-wise? Number 3. Okay, that's pretty good. And I am going to actually start going ahead and building a spy work down there. I can build 3 more mage towers. Good riddance. Goblins flee. Oh no. Needs barracks, training fields. And then that done one time. We get cavalry combat ability and Diplo rep, which is good. Touchdown. Alright. Transformation potion. What do Fey touched Hemlock? Okay. Expense. Okay, what do the Castaneath patricians want? Fortify North Castaneath. Easy peasy. Order of the Sapphire Eye. It seems our growing importance in the region did not go unnoticed. The Chivalric Order of the Sapphire Eye has reached out to us with a missive. For the greater good, united in the spirit of chivalry, overjoyed with news of recent victories. All Verena could think about was how these lofty declarations was reduced down to a single word: weak. The Order ultimately failed to protect Ascan, having promoted a naive practice of resolving conflict through trial by combat instead of waging wars. This left the land peaceful, but weak and vulnerable to the Green Tide and its devastation. Despite the surviving members of the Order being vain and naive fools clinging to the past, they somehow still enjoy a high standing and prestige, given their long chivalric tradition, while Verena herself is busy carving out the future, catering to such relics, and those that admire them could help prove Esthil's image, even if associating with such fools is distasteful. Okay, so lower Castaneth needs to have... Okay. 11th Pantheonic Council. Suppose we're just gonna have to turn it into like a giant military camp. Need more manpower. Orbish minority purged. Okay. Lichstone transformation potion. See a W. Deadly wyvern blood. Necromancy. Okay. Can I fabricate any claims on them? Yeah, I'll take that. Come off. This can come off. Ahead of time. Okay. Inviting claimants. Patricians, loyalty 80 or greater. Okay. Inviting claimants. While we have established ourselves as the foremost power in Ascan, we cannot stop there. If we are to not just last but prosper, we need to expand lest we perish like the many kingdoms that came before us. However, rapid and unjustified expansion would bring unwelcome attention, given the biases acting against us. We are in luck, though, for there are many displaced nobles, heirs, landowners, and the like that saw their lands lost in the Green Tide. If we invite these claimants and conquer not for ourselves, but for the noble reasons of returning the stolen land to their rightful owners, we can paint ourselves as liberators, even if these claimants then turn around and swear fealty to Verena. As it happens, the Order of the Sapphire Eye and the patricians are well suited for this task, and willing to lend their aid. Their reputations and prestige, paired with our strong and increasingly stable position, shall create an irresistible lure for those whose claims we wish to co-opt. Okay, so I need to have 6 diplomatic ruler skill. These claims are pressed. The following will happen. Enchanting Embassy. Oh, okay, we do not have 6. Okay, how long is the truce? Quite a while. Yeah, punish them. The vessel must be as dark and accursed as the path of witchdom itself. Once the transformation potion's contents are complete, it must be transferred into a special container made for the purpose of witchdom. The vilest means and materials. Ooh. Cortez, I'm so sorry. Yeah, God and men. To take this in order to do this. Alright. Gold rush. Alright. Orcs flee. He only wants siege ability. Alright, the Castaneath Academy. A state cannot be built by mages alone. As such, we have begun the process of rebuilding the disparate educational facilities of Castaneath. Now to be unified under the banner of the Castaneath Academy, this institution will be a haven for those deemed too radical by the change-fearing lackwits, who deem themselves orthodox, in other words. Those who simply fear that change will see their pathetic shreds of power stripped from them, and so hold back the betterment of mankind for their own agenda. But for those radicals, those who dare to question the status quo, we shall reach out to them and shelter them so they may in turn help us prosper. Even here in Ascan, some mages seem unwilling to free themselves from the shackles forced upon them by the Magisterium and explore magic without any inhibitions. Perhaps they fear the Magisterium could reach them even here? A foolish notion, of course, but not everyone is made for work that must be done. Let us establish an academy where such mages can teach what magic they do know to new and less fettered generations. Our cause is just. Okay. if I can give Colette a bit of money, they should be willing to join in. I'll be able to take everything from them, or pay off their entire debt. But if I can pay off some of it at least. Could we? Yes, we can. Yes, prepare for war. Now we are going to declare them, and we're going to call Marled in, and then we're going to call those two in. Thank you, Goeb. I can piece Aelnor out of the war. No problems. Good riddance. Alright. Free stability. Never say no to that. Orcish minority purge. Make the preparation as best we can. Alright, I can actually get... How many can I... maximum... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright. Off you go. Alright. Half-elves. Or half-orcs. I'll just do this. Excellent ear. Alright, Aelnor. What can I do? Get rid of that. Marled. No, don't need to do that. Cash. More reps. Does nothing for me. Suppose I'll take the mercenary stuff. Okay, so let me go right here and say, thought weave. Okay. All right. How much longer? Shit. So we're gonna lose 15% aggressive expansion. There it is. Let's Stupid fucking proclamation. There it is. So this will now be a bit more upsetting to people. When I say a bit more upsetting, I do mean just a little bit more upsetting. Not like that much more upsetting. Probably in my best interest to do this, and then force religion, just to get rid of the Center of Reformation. They will be spreading unholy lies. It'll be entirely just a stability thing. We're not that devoted to whatever god. Because we should eventually get Black Doctrine. And if we can get both of these centers of reformation, that's going to be wonderful. So then we will have not very much religious upsettiness. Official term. Okay, and I won't be able to concentrate development, because obviously, and then I'll take this, and then I will force religion. I'll make you get rid of that rivalry, or that alliance. Hey, Raven March, we have enough favors. Yes, we do. Wait, no, oh, fuck. I'm about to go back further, because I need to declare war on Rosand, so I can get rid of their stupid guarantee. Proclamation. Shit. I actually am gonna go back and I'll just deal with it. Because it's better for them to be right there, or for the Center of Reformation to be there rather than somewhere else. Live with my mistakes. Okay, so be fighting these three. Thieves Guild. Okay, why not? If I can just deal with that, that would be really beneficial. Where's this? Should I declare for Humax rest? Yes. Do we get to pursuit of a hobby? 23 diplomat power. Then we want to come right here, and then we can flip this on like that. A little bit of that. Flickering candle. That one. Vern actually did bring guys over. I'm surprised. Still win that, of course. Alright, get that dealt with. Esther. Do not want to leave yet. That kind of sucks. Esther. Get the fuck out of my war. Ogres. Yeah, we're good with ogres. Beacon the cleanse. Counselor. Choose the sword. Good. Alrighty. Now, mana, necromancy. But you weren't expecting to outlast me, bitches. Alright, who wants out? Raven March wants out. I can take that. Take this. Take this too. Take this. I just need to get these ideas fucking done with. If I hit this army again, Arian should be willing to leave, hopefully. Yep. So we're going to take these two, and then we're going to Horse Religion. They have better tech than me. 11. Did they get the Core Knight Crusader buff? That might be what's doing it. Okay. Dwarven Minister. Yeah, doors are fine. Good riddance. Alright, Vern's willing to get out. Alright, that was a lot bloodier than it needed to be. If I take these two. Might as well. Alright, that should stop the Regent Court. Also, we'll get Convert Other Nations done. Alright. Ruler. Counselor needs to study divination. Alright, are we good? No, we don't have the reins yet. Thank God. Wave Obscurantism. Alright, that's fine. Use overextension. That sounds like a great idea. Covert. Fabricate claim right there. Fabricate claim right there. Alright. No more stupid Coronites. Infernalists are fine, however. Consumption, drink. It is done. Morgarax, the First Lich. The pain is truly terrible. The poison scours your bones, and the ritual tears your spirit from its earthly vessel, every inch of your body feels as though it is burning, freezing, and evaporating all at once. But finally, the pain fades. You are still standing. The next few days are quiet ones, spent assessing your new existence alone in your chambers. Your new body looks much like your old one, though you no longer feel the pangs of hunger or thirst, nor any other distracting mortal urge. Your flesh already hangs loosely from your bones due to the emaciation of your long cleansing. Given enough time, it will eventually slough away, and it will leave only your polished skeleton behind. You will be a perfect being in body as well as in mind and soul. Planar, scry. Aid construction. I am a rose whose thorns are oft forgotten. In Morgarax's footsteps. To follow in Morgarax's footsteps requires utmost devotion to what comes next. Ideally, one should treat it with as much reverence as one's own funeral. A passing from life to unlife. Care must be taken in every aspect, especially when fashioning the phylactery. It is to be the home of your spirit, and thus must resemble it in the moment of transference. Else it will feel like an irritating itch for the rest of time. Shamefully, I know this from experience. Curse you, Venak, and your jokes. The spitting joviality is gnawing at the base of my skull even as I write this. A Treaty on Ascension by Conric, the Carrion Lord. By now, Verena had lost count of how many orcs and goblins she had personally dispatched. Hundreds? Easily. Thousands? Probably. So why was she hesitating? Why had she not already slit the throat of the immobilized goblin in front of her and fed it to her phylactery? She knew why. While this creature would be the first of an endless stream of its misbegotten kind to feel her immortality, it was not the first victim of her immortality. Decades ago, he had promised Verena his heart, and had stood steadfastly by her side ever since, even as the world turned against her, and for that she had claimed his heart. She had thanked her Cortaz that fateful day. She had kissed him gently, caressed his face, had lulled him to sleep with his face in her lap, a small content smile dancing on his lips. She had tried to make it painless. She had. But any magic would have interfered with the process, and the sedatives she had slipped into his meal had not been strong enough to counteract the pain as she opened his chest and carved out a still beating heart. Her skin was still a few days from sloughing off, so she knew she could yet close her eyes as she remembered his expression as he bled out. Oh, if only she could have eased the process, but no. She was forced to watch the life fade from his eyes, her voice quivering as she promised that she would create a new and better world, as they had always dreamed of doing. And then she had violated him still further. Not only had she needed to craft his potion vessel from his heart, the only way to guarantee success had been to use all of Cortaz's being for the spells, as to not use only his heart but his very soul as well. With a snarl, she broke out of the reverie and slit the throat of the goblin, then ended the spell that kept it paralyzed. With a grim satisfaction, she watched it grasp at its throat, futilely trying to stem the bleeding before it dropped, letting her claim its soul and feed it to her phylactery. Cortaz was gone, but so long as she lived, their shared dreams and hopes lived on through her. Compared to that, what did the life of a single goblin matter? And if a million more must follow, so be it. Right. Alright. That's depressing. And then we want to do that. So we still have 25 years to study as much with Verena as we can before, stuff. 25 years. 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 25 ye Alright, now I can take this. Alright. We are now Esthil, which is good. And we will... Should we culture convert them? Oh well. Alright, all of them are gonna be Esthil. The best culture in the universe. I'm gonna want quality ideas, because eventually we're probably gonna get an undead army. Alright. This. And then we can take this for very cheap. And we can go ahead and convert that one Korantari province. Them land in newly conquered territory. Goblins flee. Good. No ground bar, no money for you. No. Okay. Orcish majority expelled. Okay. Truce with Aryan has ended. Okay. Do not have claims on them yet. All owned provinces in the lower Nath area. Alright, I'll build one there. Duly noted. Alright. Dilapidated court. It can be so again. Which is the one? shift to someone else. Your magical thesis, excellent. Now, divination. Cannot cast it. God damn it. I guess we have to study divination. No. Gonna need more orcs. Fabricate claim on Hornwood. Monopoly company. Give me the cash. Give me the money. Oh, still do not have enough. Okay. There's my commandant. I'll go get it. Yes, we do want a black not a black dimenser, an Esthil. Alright, we are all caught up on tech. Lovely. Ogres are cool. Beautiful. Orcs flee. Good. I need mage towers. Nortmere and Lower Nat. Okay. How long till our truce with the Marled is up? Not too long at all. And I suppose I should probably start moving eastward too. Agenda of the diet. I suppose I can do that. Alrighty. This. Okay. Ruler magical thesis. Divination. Divination deposit. Alright. The dead mines. It has long been observed that the work of a miner is mayhaps the most dangerous work of the common occupation, second only to the soldier in times of conflict. The strains and hazards of such work consume the strength and, in time, the life of the miner at a prodigious rate. Thus it is an optimal candidate for the introduction of undead labor, as in addition to the general benefits of a tireless and disposable workforce, the details of which I have already expounded on length, the consumed labor of the miners may be redirected to other, less individually destructive pursuits. Excerpts on the productive employment of the undead labor by Arthur Ritok. The text was swiftly banned throughout the Empire of Anbennar, and Ritok was stripped of his position as a priest of Vahara. At the invitation of the Esthil Academy, I have undertaken an examination of a question ignored by the contemporaries of our age, whether the labor of the dead may, with firm direction, be rendered conducive to the prosperity of the living. It is granted that the undead require neither sustenance, rest, nor recompense, and thus may be employed by industry both rural and urban in perpetuity. And this, we are presented with a new species of labor hitherto unexamined. whose introduction into a system of commerce must be therefore altered the customary relations of production and exchange. It is my firm belief that such alterations will create a newfound prosperity for the common man, but more study is required to ensure it does not result in the disruption of the social order. So I beseech you, my friends, travel to Esthil and lend your expertise in this grand endeavor. Excerpt from a letter sent by Arthur Rittock, former priest of Ara. The theory of necronomics. Verena drummed her fingers as she and the upper echelons of the lodge listened to the thesis of the exiled Aramani priest. While she failed to understand every argument, the conclusion was clear. Unless the state was willing to keep massive breeding stock of orcs and goblins alive within its borders, they would sooner or later exhaust their population within Ascan. More could be found by attacking the Grey Orcs to the north or the Black Orcs within the Serpent Spine, but doing so was not only an uncertain prospect, but would also require more resources. This threatened Verena's visions of a society where the living were freed from the burdens of hard labor. If she wished to make this dream a lasting reality, she would have to break her prior promise. The lodge members immediately sprang into debate. Some argued that to change course now would show the world that they were right to fear Esthil's use of necromancy. Many would never support Verena's rise, given this possibility. And it would cause widespread revolt, they claimed. Others posited that Esthil must change because their understanding of the capability of necromancy has changed. Yes, inflicting undeath on their subjects would make them suffer, but would doing so be any worse than demanding taxes or ordering soldiers to a war? To live meant to occasionally be in pain. So would it truly be outrageous to ask their subjects to contribute in death if they were carefully raised and only kept around for a limited period as to minimize the pain and soul degradation they would suffer? Ultimately, the decision was left up to Verena. She had barely moved an inch, lost in thought, as she weighed the promise to never inflict the pain of undeath upon the humans being forced to give up on her dream. Finally, she came to a conclusion. If we are going to do it, we need to do it right. Figure out how much pain can be lessened, determine how to ensure too much of the self is not used up, but we must adapt for the greater good. The death tax. After the initial pleasantries, the senior-most lodge members spread out a parchment containing a plethora of diagrams and notes. On the side denoted the average suffering value an individual experience throughout life, increasingly sharp with age. The other side compares the suffering with the intrinsic value of the soul and how much it could provide to those who still live, taking into account those magically gifted and those who aren't, or those who die young or of old age. Verena's expression remained blank. We have found the sense of self is remarkably resilient, and that most memories of a person has are quite expendable. It is perfectly possible to go days, weeks, or even months without creating a truly important memory once adulthood has been reached. While it is difficult to determine exactly how much is left of a soul, our estimate is that the majority of adult souls remain recognizably themselves so long as a third of the soul is left, rising to virtually all at around half the soul still remaining. Furthermore, while it takes more time and more expensive material than regular reanimation, it is possible to perform what we have labeled gentle reanimation, where the soul's rays do not suffer. Here the researcher paused for a moment before continuing. Significantly more pain than what they might consider to be simply living, with, for example, a broken arm or some other ailment. The silence after stretched for several seconds before Verena broke it. And you say this can be translated into a tax system? Precisely, miss. The soul of the average man or woman might very well be able to animate a corpse for as much as a decade before suffering unacceptable degradation, with as much as 2 decades for the elderly. The value of this labor can then be calculated, and if their family does not wish their relative to contribute to society in death, they may pay the sum, which would help pay for the material cost of gentle reanimation for those less selfish. A look around told Verena that few of the gathered lodge members were entirely comfortable with this, knowing that very well that even gentle reanimation would still be painful, but what choice do we have? Alright. So we can enable the dead mines. Death tax revolt. Alright. The death tax, simply instituted without any explanation, of course, Verena had personally explained the details and necessity of the policy on several occasions in Castanet, and had ensured officials proclaiming the policy throughout the realm had been accompanied by a member of the Lodge of Necromancers, who could similarly explain why this was required for the perpetuation of the state, and what measures were being taken to minimize the pain caused during the reanimation process. Some displeasure had been expected, but it appeared Verena and her inner circle had overestimated their subjects. Rather than grumbling but accepting the necessity, revolts had broken out, with uneducated yokels brainwashed by the magisterium claiming that this is merely the last straw in a long list of moral depravities inflicted upon them. Fools, one and all. We will take the admin. Such is the price of sloth. Yep. Good timing. Alright, and then we head right this way. Alright. Dealing with saboteurs. Alright. Ardent Keep has a fort. Could just develop it a whole bunch. Alright, and then I can throw down support construction. And then do a rampart, which will be done in only a year. Which is good. It should already, does it already have, yeah, it already has a town hall. Okay, good. And then fabricate claim right there. Alright, good. Fabricate claim on that. Trees with corn power up. Wheat fields. Alright, so all of these need mage towers. Duly noted. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Orcs flee. Alright. Sure, all of them are killed. Okay, so all of those will have mage towers. I'm fine building them all there. And then this needs a rampart, which will be done fairly soon. Fight affections. Deal with that. Come in, we like ogres. Ogres insult the clergy. Fighting Nordio Chand. Okay, so all of those need to be next to a mage tower. Not exactly desperate for money right now, so I don't really need the... Shit. How much does it cost? 2,500 per 100 base cost, so... Times 5, 2,500. Dealing with saboteurs. Despite the explanations for both the necessity of the death tax and the benefits it would bring, revolts against the state have broken out, and attempts at halting economic activities have become widespread. While these rebels and saboteurs must be dealt with, it would be a waste to simply kill them. By staying in the way of Rena's visions, they have marked themselves as narrow-minded, regressive fools, and while it would be an exaggeration to say they were little better than orcs, their actions, if left unchecked, would inhibit Verena's attempts to bring Utopia to Ascan. As such, when a request arrives from the Black Sepulchre to turn Ardent Keep into a prison for dissidents, orcapologists, and other blights upon society, so they can serve as a supply of more varied souls for the Lodge experience, why, Verena sees no reason to deny the request. Right. What's combat with? 27. 20, and then 8, and then 10. Which does this need? 600. Okay, you know what? We can pop on the dead mines for a little bit. To make a little bit extra. So I'll get one there. Now, I mean, I'll need to build one right here. Flee, yes, more toiling souls. That's good. Do we even have the ability to create weapons manufacturers? Yes, we do. Alright, we'll get that done eventually. Alright. What can we get? This is good. This is alright. Be a little bit over, but it'll be fine. Shit, I should have been Oh, damn, I missed so much experience I could have been getting. Let's do enchantment. Alright, how are we doing conversion-wise? Great. Allied with Con Marold. Hey, favors. Prepare for war, my friend. And then I want to declare on a Marhold. Con Aelnor. Let's do Spirit's Cage. Okay, I guess I'll just grab those two provinces, like, individually. But it's probably gonna want... Actually, they won't want those, because they converted. They converted culture, but I think normally Gowed would want these provinces. Alright, what can we take next? Might as well do that. Moronite's somewhat happy. Take this, and take this. Alright. Get this. And... Army Tradition Decay is pretty good. Ooh. Let me turn them automatic. Alright, from Aelnor. I will take nothing, because these provinces are way too goddamn expensive. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Actually, I don't care about that alliance. Yes, that's good. Is actually the one with 12, so I'm going to switch those around. And I would like this. Yeah, give me money. Prosperous duo. Should be treated as such. Yeah, we got a second one from, where is it? The Pantheon Way. I want to take that. I don't have claims on that. I guess we can take these instead. Anyone convert to Chlorinite? A couple people, yeah. What do I need in the reap fields? Norkmere. Yeah, seems good to me. It's gonna make people upset. But I don't actually care all that much. Alrighty. Actually, this army can go sit in the Blade Keep. This one go that way. Okay, and to get the reap fields done. This needs to be more developed. Right. Whole bunch of stuff happening. And then I can throw at that against the Colt. Good. Credence. Alright, now we had our big old peasant revolt. They are the #1 great power now, which is wonderful. Alright, and then we can get the thorn formation. Excellent. How much of Southernist gone? We have a good portion. We have about half of Southernist gone. That's good. Culture-wise, how are we doing? Good. At least we're done with our ideas, though, so we won't have to be pouring points for that anymore, and we can focus on tech again. Alright. Alright, legendary enchantment. Now, necronomics. While the pinnacle of necromancy is Morgarax's Lichdom ritual, the most iconic spell is Animate Dead, which has its roots in ancient and revered Milcarisa. While Morgarax himself reworked what was once an elaborate, time-consuming ritual into a spell that could be cast in a minute or two by even a middling mage, he did not change the core application, reanimating a humanoid corpse, most generally by binding the soul that originally inhabited the body. Since then, necromancers have frequently found themselves hunted by ignorant and narrow-minded, and so relied on the knowledge passed down by Morgarax to create bodyguards to protect themselves. However, here in Esthil, we have the luxury to consider what purpose the spell can be put to other than bodyguards. Already, there have been discussions as to what labor could instead be performed by untiring and compliant undead. A few individual experiments have been carried out in fields, such as making skeletons pull plows in the place of oxen, but several skeletons were always required to replace even a single beast. This inspired a question: what if we could bind orc souls to animal corpses such as oxen or horses? In theory, such bodies should have greater strength, and while they would be unable to use tools, their bodies should be more than suitable for a great deal of work, whether that be pulling plows, hauling carts, or even just used as pack animals. The necromancers are eager to experiment with this idea and have asked for plenty of souls to be made available for these experiments. You shall have what you ask for and more. Alright, summon familiar. Let's see how quickly this gets done. It's like 10 a month. It's quite a lot. It's probably not happening. Wheat fields. Valiant Society. Nope, definitely do not want them. Beastly soul for beast bodies. Alright, I'm going to actually end this episode here. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.